sit. And I think Vidyamala sometimes reads out lots of the messages. I can't read that fast, so I'll just invite you to look at the chat if you want while waiting. Well, there's people, people from Ireland, Canada, USA, Scotland, West Yorkshire. I'm from Hereford, England, Rochdale, Newcastle, Shoreham by the Sea, I think it's in Sussex, Norway, hey, to Ingrid, Birmingham. Okay, so there's 63 of us so far, and welcome everyone to this evening. And again, my name's Sona. I'm leading you through a meditation this evening, and I hope you find it interesting and useful. We're going to do a compassion meditation, and I don't know how many of you are very familiar with breathworks. I think probably a lot of you know quite a bit about breathworks, but we teach sort of a basic mindfulness meditation, breathing anchor, which is where you kind of anchor your attention. You rest your attention on the experience of breathing. And then ever since we began, we thought doing compassion meditation was really good, because we were working initially with people in long-term health conditions. And it's quite easy not to feel good about yourself. And also then people joined our courses who are experiencing a lot of stress in their life and anxiety. And of course, when you experience all these things, it's not always easy to smile, is it? It can be quite hard. Life can be quite hard and tough. And so it's very important that we do have a sense of ease, with ourselves and towards other people. One of the most, I don't know if people often realize this, but when you do compassion meditations, it kind of requires you to do a little bit of thinking. The other meditation, the mindful breathing anchor meditation, kind of requires you to just pay attention and let go of your thinking. But when you do compassion meditation, initially you need to do a little bit of thinking. So in some ways, it's an easier practice, because we're all thinking, most of us are thinking most of the time. It's very difficult to turn that off. So it's quite useful just changing your thinking rather than just stop thinking. It's quite an art to be able to start going, stop thinking now. You just stop thinking. Because as soon as you start becoming aware of your breath, you notice you're thinking again. I mean, we all have thoughts coming into our minds all the time, but it's a bit different to thinking. But with compassion practices, you can actually think a little bit about it. And the whole object really is to think about yourself as being in a good state, I guess, or kind of wishing yourself well, thinking about yourself as times when you're happy, what it would be like if you're not feeling happy at the moment, what it'd be like to feel content and just let things kind of come and go. It's not really a meditation where you're trying to make everyone happy, but it's a meditation where we're trying to become more content with ourselves and accepting in a compassion, caring sort of way. And then, of course, the number of meditations we do, the three of them are basically designed to work with yourself to become more aware of your difficulties and be compassionate to that, any pain, any stress, any difficulties you have in life, not giving yourself a hard time, not whipping yourself, but being caring and loving towards yourself. And then looking, the one's the treasure, I can't remember what it's called now, treasure of pleasure, sort of, you go looking for the pleasant things in life, and you enjoy them. You allow yourself to enjoy the things that you enjoy doing. And then you learn to hold these two experiences, because our tendency in life is to push away what we don't like and grab hold of things we do like, try to hold them both in our hearts with a open heart. And then we have a meditation called connection meditation, where we realize there's a lot of other people just like us who are suffering, having difficulties, and probably more so than ever at the moment. And we try to just be aware in our minds. We can't be aware of all the people everywhere in the world because we've never met them, we don't know who they are. And we might, in a way, everyone is kind of in our mind anyway. Is when we think about lots of people, it's in our mind we think about lots of people. So what we do in this compassion meditation, we spend 20 minutes, let's say we go to something like that, that's what Vidyamala recommended, just thinking kindly about other people. And that will have an amazing effect on us. If we can, just come back to thinking, well, there's people here, there's people there. You can go around the world if you want. You can start with friends and just expand out. There's people everywhere. You bring different people to mind. And it's actually both compassion to them and to yourself. None of us really know whether our thinking is doing anything for anyone. This year and last year, I've experienced I know a number of people who have lost loved ones. In fact, a friend of mine lost his mother a couple of days ago. Surprisingly, most of them weren't COVID related, but nonetheless, when you lose someone, or when someone else tells you they've lost someone near and dear, you kind of want to do something for them, don't you? You want to sort of almost hug them and say, demonstrate that you are thinking lovingly and kindly of them, supporting them. And if you know that you've got friends and others supporting you, it's a remarkable thing. We don't know, if when we send a message back, I sent a message back to my friend and said, well, I'm thinking, caring, loving thoughts for you. I don't know whether my thoughts are actually going through the ether, as they used to say, having an effect, whether there's a vibration set up, a kind of wave that actually affects other people's minds. I mean, we don't know whether that's possible or not. And, I tend to try to look at things positively. And I like to think, well, if we don't know, I'm going to think it does work. So I'm just going to allow my thoughts to spill out and sort of send waves out to all the people here tonight. I'll be sending you waves of love. I don't know what that means in a way, but that's what I'm assuming I'm doing. And it will hopefully make some of you who are very, very receptive, I'm just joking really, but we're all receptive. Some of you might think, oh, Sonia's sending love to me, that's nice. And that might actually have an effect on you. And you might think, oh, there's lots of people, see me in the box. So I think, oh, there's someone sending love, or someone. And what's interesting is it's when it's you who's actually, as it were, radiating or sending love out, it actually has a very, very positive effect on oneself. So it's not just for other people you do it for yourself. In some ways, you could say primarily for yourself, at least with yourself it's having an effect. And that effect isn't that when you're doing the meditation, you're necessarily feeling all warm and lovely feelings coming up. Sometimes people think this is what you do in the compassion meditations, and then they're very disappointed when not much happens. The mind just drifts off to something else. So it's good to try to let go of any idea of feeling particularly good or happy or content, but just to think of people and wish them well. And at the end of the meditation, maybe after, maybe even later this evening or in the morning, if you're in other continents and time zones, wherever you are, just see if it's had an effect. It may even affect you days later, just this kind of feeling that you're connecting with lots of people, wishing them well in this time of, that's trying and difficult and very sad for many people, loss of loved ones and so on, and feeling you really like to support them and give what you can to others. And this will not only have, hopefully, an effect on the world somehow, but it will also have an effect on you and all the people that you interact with. And so it's a wonderful thing to do, personally. It's what I think, and I'm very pleased I'm able to sit here with you this evening doing that. So that will probably do for the introduction for this little meditation this evening. So I'd like to just invite you to find your kind of position, and 20 minutes. Some of you, I don't know if you haven't meditated for 20 minutes, because when we teach people at Breathworks, it's usually 10-minute meditations, but I think Vidyamala usually meditates with you 15 to 20 minutes each week, so you've probably got quite a bit of experience if you've been coming regularly. If you haven't, you could just try it out and see what happens. Don't feel you have to turn your camera off because you feel like you need to move a bit or something like that. It's quite nice seeing seeing people's faces. Otherwise, it's a bit like being on the radio. Don't know who's listening, and it's nice to see some of you. And just move if you need to move, and do what you need to do. But if you can sit still and kind of refocus your mind, and I'll just lead you through the practice, because some of you may not be that familiar. Some people are used to being led through the practices. If you find after a little while you don't want to hear me talk, you can always switch me off. Turn your speaker off if you want to, but or just practice letting it fade into the background, which is kind of a bit of an art as you become more and more kind of involved and occupied with feeling kindly towards yourself and other people. So I'm going to close my eyes now, look down, and I'll tell you what I'm going. I think I'll lead the meditation a little bit to tell you what I'm doing, and you can follow my little tips and experiences. You may have your own particular way you want to go into meditation, and you can just let it kind of wash over you if you want. But I always find it helpful to focus first of all on my on sensations in my body. So it kind of brings me. Some people call it bringing you back home. I guess that means because we're sometimes living outside the body, sometimes about a meter away, sometimes further. So we come back home to our body, in our body, and we allow ourselves to pay attention to the sensations in the body. So I can feel the weight of my upper body is pressing down into the chair. And if you want to, I kind of notice, actually, I just noticed this, it came into my mind. It's actually not that pleasant, really, all the weight going into your bottom, into the chair. Kind of, I'm quite heavy, it's pressing down. But it's all right, it's not painful. And if I was lying down, it would be less weight. So, but I'd probably fall asleep then. So I'm just going to accept it as for what it is. It's just weight pressing down to the chair. It's pressing down because gravity in the world is pulling me down, which is a great idea, isn't it? Because you suddenly now feel you're part of everything instead of being isolated on your own. You're part of everything, because every single one of us, wherever we are in the world, is being pulled down towards the center or pushed down, and it depends which theory you go with. But we can feel gravity holding us down. That's amazing, isn't it? We're all breathing. So that's what I do. I come back to my experience, my breathing. I just got a bit carried away there because I thought about all of you breathing. So I come back to myself, back to my home, me, in my body. I'm breathing. Feel the breath going in and out. I feel the chest moving, the abdominal area moving. And I notice as I'm breathing, my body's relaxing. I'm not trying to relax. It's a bit of a feeling of letting go. That tension that I might be holding is softening. There may be some parts in my body that I can note, like my shoulders are a bit tense. I can't relax them. There's no way I can just push them into relaxation. Even that's the wrong approach. The approach isn't to push anything, it's just to befriend, just kind of compassionately think about, I'm going to compassionately think about my shoulders, my lovely shoulders. The shoulder blades, there's kind of a bit of tension around there. Just going to breathe and soften into it. Think of breathing a kindly, caring breath into my shoulder blades. And they do seem to be softening. I feel like smiling. Oh, that's nice. And still breathing. And if you do feel a kind of release, you just enjoy it. Give yourself permission to enjoy it now. This is perhaps what we're looking for, sense of letting go, freeing up. Just being present. And even if if I haven't got a headache now, but sometimes I suffer from migraines, and it's quite hard then when you've got pain in your body. But again, one can bring kindly, loving attention to a part of the body that's tight or throbbing, tension, and just kindly, soft, gentle sort of way, accepting that's how it is can't do much about it, but we could be thinking kindly thoughts about that part of the body. It seems sometimes a funny thing to do, doesn't it, to your own body, but I just thought kindly thoughts to my shoulder blades, and it was a bit like, kind of imagine my shoulder blades saying, thanks, that's nice. So you can sometimes use imagination in these meditations. You can give things a sort of personality, play around. And always there's the breath coming in and going out. And if you feel like smiling, allow yourself to smile. And even if you don't feel like smiling, maybe just have a little go at smiling. See if it changes your mood. Kind of good to be a bit playful sometimes when we meditate, don't need to be too serious. And just letting things go, being with oneself, breathing in and out. Then we could just bring to mind someone we know well, a friend, someone we feel comfortable with, someone who we would like to sit with quietly, someone we have a kind of in relationship to. I don't mean in a kind of close way. It could just be a good friend, family member, a child, anyone really. Just someone we feel we care about, we love to be with. And just bring them to mind. And just breathe with them. So you're sitting together somewhere, quietly, no need to talk. You're just both enjoying each other's company. Breathing in, breathing out. Kind of wishing them well. It's kind of almost happening, whether you like it or not really, because they're your friend. You love them. And if you brought to mind someone who's one of your friends who's is having difficulties at the moment, well then you can just focus and breathe with them, helping them to accept what's happening as best they can. Sometimes it's almost like trying to get people to accept the unacceptable. But that's all we can do, is to become aware that what's happening is happening. If grief and difficulties come, we allow it to manifest, to do. Well, grief comes in waves, difficulties come in waves. Sometimes we just let them come, flow over us. We can wish our friend, if you wanted to use your imagination, you can imagine, and it may be not that far from the truth either, that your thoughts are setting up some sort of vibration and they're affecting your friend. The loving, caring thoughts. Don't think whether this is really happening or not. It'll just be a distraction. Just allow yourself to imagine there's like a wave going from you to them. We don't know what waves are. They travel through water, in the air, sound waves, waves in the sea. The water doesn't really move very much. The wave moves. So we don't really know what happens. There's so many mysteries to life. So you can just send the waves of love, care, tenderness, support to your friend, this person who's close to you. And gradually we can invite in other people. If we were in a room together, we would be aware of each other much more kind of viscerally. But we are connected through this electronic, amazing World Wide Web, where we can, if our cameras are on, we can see each other. We're all connected in some mysterious way. And so, being connected, what we're doing is probably affecting others. So, if we feel that we can't be very supportive to others, we're having difficulties ourselves, just allow yourself to be supported by everyone else. And if you feel a kind of sense of gratitude, kindly thoughts of people all being here together, forming a temporary community together, somehow connected. And there's just probably about 75 or more of us connecting. It's quite a lot of people, isn't it? We're all connected together. We're all breathing. We can breathe together. I think the delay over the World Wide Web is quite small, so we're more or less all breathing simultaneously. We're breathing in and out. Right at this moment, 76 or 75 of us are all breathing in and breathing out, connected. Really amazing. Can you start imagining we're sending waves to each other, waves of kindness, waves where others can have the strength and the skills to deal with the difficulties in life, to help others who are having difficulties, and sending waves of joy, love, people who feel they're content or happy, enjoying themselves, just quietly enjoying themselves, whatever they're doing, or working, relaxing, sleeping. Maybe they're ill. Some people probably not in this group tonight. You may be ill, but you're conscious being here. So we could just try to imagine 75 people. Most of us are strangers to each other. And that's even more amazing. We're all connected. But there's something we have in common that's brought us here. This time, whatever time it is for you, this instantaneous moment. And we're all breathing. We all want to avoid suffering. We all want to be happy. And then this will require even greater degree of kind of imagination. We could think of all the people that live around us physically, wherever we are in the world, people around us are trying to deal with the difficulties in life. Some people are suffering, some people are just getting by, some people are quite content. And if it's helpful, you can just imagine like waves are kind of flowing out from you. And when they encounter another human being, kind of, as it were, jiggle their particles of being in a way that's pleasant, supportive, loving. The whole time we're breathing ourselves, being aware of that breath of life coming in and going out. Maybe with the out-breath, the wave, kindness flows out from us, touching others. Just imagine if it continued and continued around the globe, the whole earth. My waves overlapping with your waves, overlapping with others. You may even have a sense, can feel it as though I'm breathing with the whole world. It's as though the earth itself is breathing, nature's breathing, the whole of beings are breathing life in and out, breathing the air in and out, at least the ones that are on the land. And it's probably easier just to stick with human beings. And just allowing that thought of waves, compassion, of care, kindness, to flow ever outwards. And allowing ourselves to receive the waves. Sometimes not easy to let other people in, but there's a kind of freedom to being open, kind of liberation to allowing others to help us, care for us. Mutually supporting one another. And at that, now, I'm afraid, there's another wave, a sound wave, coming from my singing bowl through the air to the microphone diaphragm. giving a little signal that the meditation has come to the end. The 30 minutes has run its course. Some people will expect to go off now, so thank you everyone for joining me this evening. I think Vidyamala will be back next week, and well, I might see you some of you again if she needs a break, and step in for her. If you want to say anything in the box, please, very happy for you to share that with others. And as I say, I notice Vidyamala often reads out everything that comes on it. It's all happening a bit too fast for me. So, a lot of people, a lot of thank yous. Well, that's nice. Thank you all for being here. I really enjoyed that meditation. It's really nice. Well, thank you everyone for being here and all your thank yous. And I'll pass on any messages to Vidyamala. And I guess our tech person will probably be closing the room sometime. Or he may not. Or she, I don't know actually.
I'm here. I can if you want me to, Senna. Shall I?
No, these people, it's you, Ollie. Hello.
Hi, Senna.
I think people are still writing things. And so, well, I think they seem to have stopped now. So probably do what you think is best, Ollie.
All right. Yes, I think the messages have petered out, so I'll close the room. Thanks, Senna.